Hi, Jenny here. Today is Monday. It's another week. It's the beginning of February. What a beginning it's been. I got started at the end of January. As I mentioned last week was a busy week. That was the title of my last video. I pretty much only gotten through Wednesday. Thursday we had a family member we took to the hospital. He had some surgery. It was a day surgery. It was supposed to be probably only a half a day's worth of stuff. Ended up being whole day, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. That's what that day was planned for. But we'd gotten up at like 3:15 in the morning so that we could get the person and get to the hospital. And it was supposed to be like a 2-hour surgery. I think they said they had the room booked for 3 hours. Yeah, and it ended up going for 4, so it took an extra hour. But everything was okay. That was the first thing the doctor said when they came out to see us, was that everything was okay, everything went well, and I was like, okay, phew. Because you kind of wonder when it takes some extra time. It's like, what was going on? But all in all, it was a nice day. We didn't do much. We sat around, so Wayne and I were together. Very nice that he came with me to do this, because I thought I was going to be doing it alone. So it was kind of like a date day. We were there together. They had a very nice cafeteria there, so we had a delicious breakfast. And then because it was taking more time and stuff, it was lunchtime, which made sense anyway, so we went and then got some lunch. They reset it. They closed down the cafeteria for an hour and they reset it for lunch. And so we went back there and just got some other food for lunch. A lot of good choices. They have like little like heated areas, so they made their own food there. Like for the breakfast time, they had scrambled eggs and some omelets. That's kind of what Wayne had. He had the scrambled eggs and it had ham and cheese in there. And they had sausage links, they had bacon, they had croissants, which then they had, in the warming area, so it was a warm croissant. So I ended up having that. So good, and again, easily digestible. So it was a nice warm chocolate croissant. And I had some bacon. And Wayne had the ham and cheese omelet. And some sausage links. And a drink. I had my water. So that was good. And then for lunch they reset it kind of like an Italian. I think it was like spaghetti. They had spaghetti sauce. They had some tortellini and all that, which is kind of like, yeah, no, not for me. The tortellini, if I have too much of it, that'll block me up. So learn my lesson with that one. But they had warm vegetables. So there too, it was like, oh, I want a scoop of warm vegetables. That was good. And then I had a chicken salad sandwich. And that came with some grapes and cheese squares, which Wayne ate the cheese. He had a ham and cheese sandwich. And then he ate my cheese squares. I had the grapes. So again, it was so good. Perfect portion. It was a small little bun. Good amount of chicken salad on there. So that was all good. So that was very nice. That all went well. And then, yeah, the recovery after surgery was done. Recovery took just a little bit longer. And that was all good, and then we were able to get them where they needed to go after. And then we came home, and it was like, even though it was a day of just sitting, stressful enough, I guess, because we were both like, we just want to go home, we just want to sit and relax. And it's like okay, we weren't like going, we weren't doing stuff, but it was enough that was just like, oh, it was just a relaxing night. So that was good. And then Friday, like I mentioned, I took Cassie in we dropped off her taxes. They had a page and a half-ish of questions to ask her, like whether she is like paying alimony, child support, rent, does she own properties, does she own digital assets, did she have medical expenses, things like that. And while we were doing that, it was so cute. We were in an office talking to a gentleman, and a black lab came walking in. And I had forgot last year when I dropped off Mom's taxes that the black lab was there and came coming over to greet me, wagging his tail, and it was just like, oh, cute, okay, little pets, whatever. Well, this time it was so funny. He comes in the office and he came in and he sat by me. So I was giving him the pets. Well, he was standing there actually, so nice, good height. I could, we're sitting there just petting him. And he was just taking it all in, and then I think he left for a little bit, then he came back and he was there again, and then he scooched between me and the desk, and he's like almost like moved my legs to get over because Cassie was on the other side of me. And he got over there, and then he stood there and he just looked at Cassie. So Cassie was like, oh, okay. So Cassie gave him some pets. And it was good. I said, yeah, the tax therapy dog, huh? And the guy was like, yep, that was Duke. And he's an older dog, but it's so cute. He's like, he just loves everybody. So it's so nice. So yeah, Cassie pet him for a while, and then he kind of was between us a little bit, and I pet him a little bit more, and then he just laid down. That was about the end of our appointment. So like, yeah, not letting us leave. It's like, oh, we have to stay. But so that was very, very nice. That was got a little dog fix in. And then after that, we went to her hair appointment. And I forgot, as we had parked, and as we were walking to the hair appointment, the shops were closed. And I was like, oh, I thought, they should be open. And then I realized that it was only like 20 minutes to 10, and they all open at 10 o'clock, which was my plan. I figured that the shops would be open at 10. Her hair appointment was at 10. I would just kind of wander, the street a little bit, go up and down the street to all the cute little shops. And yeah, they weren't open. And it was just windy enough, even though it was supposed to be, it was a warmer day. Like even Thursday was 50 degrees. We spent the whole day inside. And then Friday was still a little bit warmer, but there was a breeze. So it was just cool enough that I'm like, eh. So we got inside. They had a very nice waiting room. Cassie's getting her hair cut, and I'm waiting. So very cute little waiting room. Watching traffic go by outside. Sitting area. Ceiling. And they've got some complimentary drinks in the fridge there, so very nice. So we got to sit back there, and they had little bottles of water and soda and juice, and Cassie had a juice, I had a little bottle of water. She got taken back about 10 minutes to 10. And I kind of thought, well, all right, I could wait 10 minutes, and then again, I could go walk up and down. I did wear my long johns, just again, figuring I was going to be outside. Oh, excuse me. And I would be walking, so I thought, well, make sure I wear my long johns so I could be warm enough. And then I thought, do I really want to go out there? And is her appointment really going to take an hour? What if she's done in half an hour? And then, it'll be maybe like 20 after type of thing, as I'll be somewhere and then have to like make sure I hear her text and come back. And I thought, whatever, I'll just wait for her to come back and we'll see. So yeah, she was done in about 40 minutes. And we paid. They even had a cute little shop inside. Oopsies. They had a cute little shop inside the hair salon. Some jewelry and things. I'm trying to think what else there was besides jewelry. There's all different types of jewelry in that. But when we left there, I asked her, I'm like, there's this store called Lily's, and I like that store. It's a feel-good store. They have all kinds of cute little things. So I asked Cassie if she wanted to do that, and she was like, sure. So, well, we have like 20 minutes left on our 2-hour parking. Not that the parking police would probably really be out that early and whatever. So, because again, the shop's opening at 10. It was just kind of like, all right, well, let's go. Let's check it out. So we did. We go in that store. That store has a lot of clothing. So they have t-shirts. They have sweaters. I'm trying to think if they're more. They seem like more local. More of, it's not, mainstream, high known names type of thing, whatever. So they have that stuff. They have some little notebooks just for writing. They had a little crystal notebook that had all about crystals in there and stuff. They had cute little books that had like covered in books, looked like a library shelf, like a bookshelf. That was cute. They had some books that were, it was like one set. It was almost like a cardboard display that had like Mind Your Peas. Something like Mind Your P's and Q, and was like happy sayings or something like that. And then some of them had like a word on them, like one of them was for your sister. So I glanced through that a little bit, and then I showed Cassie, and Cassie was glancing through there. It was all about little things, again, like your sister, you're my best friend. I'll always have your back. Or one of them was like, remember the time that we did, and then fill in the blank. My best memory with you is fill in the blank. A place where a photo is one of my best memories of you is, a place for a photo that you could put in there, and things like that. So that was kind of cute. And then what else? They had some socks made out of llama hair. So they had some jewelry. So kind of funny, one of the rings that they had in there was a turtle ring, and it's one of them that I actually bought from Amazon like a year and a half ago. So I thought, oh, that's funny. See what else they have in case there's something else I think of. Every once in a while when I put my jewelry on and I put on whatever, it's like, oh, I could go for this, like a matching something. Like right now I think I have dragonfly earrings, but I don't know as though I have a dragonfly necklace. I have to double check. They had a dragonfly necklace there, so I'm like, all right, keep that in mind, that if I'm thinking about that one of the days, that I don't think I have a dragonfly shirt though. I kind of like to do the whole the whole thing. But anyways, yeah, so they had some cute jewelry. I look around, I know they have a couple kid sections, so they have some kid clothes in there. In fact, the customer that was in there with us, she was buying another set of pajamas for her grandson, saying that she had bought one set and he just loved them a lot. He's got a thing with, he itches a lot with different clothing, and so the pajamas there fit him really well, and he loved them, and didn't make him itch and all that. So she came back to buy a second pair, and she's like, I may be back for another pair. So that was neat. And then up at their front counter underneath, they have like a piece of glass on their front counter, and underneath that they have all different dollar bills from different countries. So we were looking around, they had like a Japanese one or a Chinese one, and then we did find one from South Korea. It was the back side of it, so it was more. I was looking for like the people that I've seen on the ones that Cassie has. I was looking for a face, but it was the back side of one. I'm like, oh, Cassie found it. She's like, there it is. So that they had perfumes that were like a solid perfume, like in a metal tin, like one of those silver tins that take the top off. And so they had like a solid perfume type stuff in there. So Cassie had smelled those and liked one of those. And they had some candles that were from your sign. An Aries candle and a Taurus and a Leo, and so they had those. They had some gum that had the gum or mints. I don't remember. I did take some pictures. So I took a few of those. Cassie was taking pictures of different things and all that. I'm like, oh, I thought about it, but I was kind of like, it was a more quiet store, nobody there. I took a few pictures, but. In any case, that was cute, but I didn't buy anything at that point in time. I'm kind of like, all right, again, just thinking about, things keeping in my mind. So that was all we decided to do. There are a couple other good stores there, but same, it was just kind of like, all right, we kind of done our morning of errands, and, our parking time was kind of up, so. We came home, had a quieter afternoon, so that was good. Oh, I still feel so busy. Saturday, I went shopping with Wayne. Oh, that was the thing too. On Thursday, when we were going to the hospital, we picked up our person and we opened up our van doors to get stuff into the van. And as we were closing the door, the passenger side door didn't want to close. It closed. But then it did like just a little like it wanted to open again. It was flush with the car, but it was just enough back that it wasn't, the sensor of the van didn't recognize it as closed, although it didn't have the door open sign on it, but the door didn't want to work. And it's just like, and we were opening and closing. So I went out and I tried pushing on the door, and that didn't really work. Wayne came out and he was kind of pushing on the door, trying to do whatever, hitting it with his booty. And it was, it just is. We're just going to have to deal with it. And so we were driving, and of course, when it thinks the door is open, it makes that beep. So we're like, it is what it is. And after 5-10 minutes, it finally shut off, which was nice. And then Wayne looked it up while we were at the hospital and said that, yeah, it's a known problem that can happen in vans. It's some sensor inside the door or whatever, so we'll have to talk about it. Well, knowing I had the oil change today, I figured I would ask about it. So there's that kind of car little thing. Saturday we go grocery shopping, and we know, like, okay, don't open that door. We can open the other door, even though this one's also had problems of it closes and it stops like 2 inches short, and it doesn't want to close, and it'll open itself back up. And so same, we've kind of had to like guide it along, and we could kind of push it, because unfortunately in these cars, when they have the electric system like this, you can't override it. I've asked before, I'm like, can I shut it off? I mean, I get it, it's great when the kids were little and we're walking to the car from wherever and they're like running ahead of me and it's raining or whatever, and I could push my button on my remote and it would open the door and they could hop in right away and stuff. That's great. Well, now it doesn't really matter. I can manually open the door, manually shut it, but there's no like button that can switch that off. I can't turn off the electronic, so it has to do that. Something like. So Saturday we grocery shopped, and that all went well, and everything. And so then we get back to the van, and Wayne was putting some groceries in, and something kind of fell over as he was trying to get all the way to the other side, because we had a lot of groceries. And I was like, oh, I could go fix that. I go, no, I won't. I'm not going to open that door, not until, you know, we do Monday. Because the other problem he saw online was that if the door does do its thing where it doesn't shut, the battery will drain, because it also thinks like it's open and somehow it's running, you know, the battery for that, and so you get a dead battery. When we started the car again after the hospital, it had reset itself, so it was all good. We didn't have to listen to that sound on the way home. So in any case, so we're like, yeah, don't use that door. And then we go by my mom's and we deliver her groceries, and we needed to take her recycling cart out because it was full. So decided to start the van. We also haven't used her van in 1 month and a half, 2 months, maybe it's been 2 months now. And battery was dead. It's like, okay. So she has a battery charger in her garage. So it was kind of like, okay, we plugged that in, plugged her van in. We'll let that sit. Wayne was able to get the recycling cart out. I had pulled it in far enough when I had parked it last that he was able to, there was enough room to get the recycling cart out, so it was good for today. And with an overnight charge, it should be fine. So today we'll have to start that up and move it and take it for a little drive or whatever, and then get the recycling cart back in the garage. But, so Saturday, so Friday, I'm just jumping all over the place here. Friday morning, Thursday night, maybe even too, there were a couple ants in the kitchen. So we had it really warm the other day. You know, winter comes, and then it has the hard freeze type of thing. We had our cold days. So we had our week in January. We had a week's worth of cold, and then it warms up, and then we get a 50-degree day. And when it warms up like that, I've had this happen, you know, a handful of times. That when it gets warm like that, we get ants in the kitchen. And just on the ground, there'll just be a few milling around and whatever, and it's like, okay, whatever. So I killed a few. And then the next day, I killed another like 5-10 in the morning or something when I, you know, came down for breakfast. And I had breakfast, and I come back in the kitchen, and there were like 40 ants in the kitchen. And I'm like, okay, we haven't had that many. When we have the ants, it's like just a few. The one time we had so many was when we had the dog, and we always had dry food out for him because he could, you know, he would just eat when he was hungry, and so we could always leave out dry food. And it was like Thanksgiving Day, and we came down, and the ants were having Thanksgiving feast. They were all over his dog food. And it was just like, holy smokes, okay. So since then, I don't think we haven't had that many. Like I said, we've had a smattering. And this time there were so many, and it was just like, okay. So that, yeah, you know, Wayne said on Friday, should I stop home? Should I get ant traps? I'm like, yeah, we're going grocery shopping Saturday. It'll be fine. And with him having had that many, I'm like, and now again, it should, you know, to slow down. It should get cold again outside. So Saturday we bought some ant traps. And when we left before grocery shopping, there were maybe 3 or 4 on the floor. Okay, fine. We go grocery shopping, we come back. Wayne puts down an ant trap, and we did whatever. Again, we had lunch or something, and then we come back in the kitchen, and the ant trap is swarmed. It's like, it is Saturday, and to add to our fun today, we've had our kitchen invaded by ants. Last couple days I found a few, and then yesterday we had like 40 of them, 50. I think we had 40 at one point. And then we had a few more at night. And then there's only like 3 before bedtime. And this morning there weren't any. Went grocery shopping, came home. There weren't any. So we put out an ant trap. And it's ant buffet time. So we added second one. And I'm trying to cook in between. Making my chicken soup. Doing what I can. Make sure I don't step on them so they can take the stuff back to their nest. And they won't have any more coming at us. Fun, fun, fun. A new diner open. Woo! I'm like, yeah, go for it, Danny. Take it back to your nest. I feel bad. I don't like killing little animals, but then again, you know, they're too. Ants, you know what? You're outside, you can live. You're fine. Spiders, you're outside, you can live. That's fine. You're in the house, you're in my area. Nope, I'm sorry. So, yeah, putting the ant poison out, and it was like, they swarmed that, and it was like, oh, holy smokes. So then, too, I'm trying not to step on them and all that so that they can make it back to the nest with all that. And I decided I was making chicken soup for this weekend. Made a pot for Mom, made a pot for me. So I'm like dancing in between the ants as I'm at the counter trying to chop vegetables and look, and you know, going in between that and the pots, and I'm like, okay, just don't step on them, don't, you know, working around. I'm like, jeepers creepers. So I'd ask my mom. Mom gets ants every, you know, here and there too, and it was kind of like, I'm like, are you having any ants? And she was like, nope, her place has been fine. So it's like, okay, good. Yeah, like I said, it's been years since we've had this. So that's funny. But, and it's taken a while, even 24 hours, no, 12 hours. 12 hours later, there were still a lot of ants in the kitchen. The next day, so Sunday, it wasn't as bad. There's still enough. Cassie ended up making, what did she do? Saturday she was supposed to go out that night. She, you know, she had work. And Mandy had bought tickets to a K-pop event before she left. And then obviously she left. So Cassie was going to go with a friend. And then the friend ended up, she had to work on Sunday. And she goes, I don't want to stay out late Saturday night and do that. So, and so it was kind of like, Mom, you, and I'm like, you know, I'm pooped. After, you know, the grocery shopping and then visiting with Mom and then cooking and doing a little bit of house cleaning and stuff, it was just like, I was ready to sit. Because again, after hours in the kitchen. And I'm kind of like, well, do you really want to go? What, you know, what, she goes, no, I didn't really want to go, but, you know, we have the tickets. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I mean, so be it. The tickets are bought, you know, you don't have to go just because you have tickets. And she's like, all right, well, let me see if I can either resell them or whatever and stuff. So she looked into it. I don't know, but she ended up not going because I thought, I'll go with you if I have to. I'm like, I'll go. I'm like, what is it? Is it, you know, a big thing? Are they going to have booths there? Are they going to? Now it's pretty much like, you know, it was, what do you call it? It was it was an event. It was a room. It was at the Pabst Mansion or something. I don't know. It's like a little dance space, a little open area that they were going to have a DJ playing and you could dance. And I believe they had drinks there that you could get. So it was 21 and over. So yeah, alcohol. So I'm like, okay, take me back to my 20s when I would go out to the bar with my friends and we had a small dance floor. We knew, you know, with the DJ, we were regulars. We got to be friends with the DJ. We're still friends with them, you know, him to this day, him and his friend. So kind of cute, but it was just kind of like, okay. So it's just like, yeah, you go and you dance and you hang out. And they weren't going to have any giveaways, any prizes. Like I said, there weren't any booths there with photo cards and merch and anything like that. So she decided to stay home, which was like, okay, good. And then Sunday, she went down to Chicago to meet up with a friend, one of the old coworkers that lives down there. They were having some event for the city, which I don't even know as though they did anything for the event. They ended up meeting at a restaurant. They ate, and then she got to see the friend's apartment, and then they ended up like walking up and down again a street of stores. And she took some cute pictures of different things that she was seeing and then bought a few items. She came home, showed us that. It snowed a little bit yesterday, but again, it got to be 40 degrees. I was waiting through like 4 o'clock in the morning, the plows are coming through. We're like, we got, you know, maybe an inch, half an inch to an inch. You know, usually an inch or over they plow, but it was like they didn't really need to plow and it was gonna be 40 degrees. It all melted. So I don't know, they were like, you know, jonesing to do some plowing or something like that. But thinking the streets were all good, weather was good. So Cassie got to do her thing. It was warm enough out. Wayne and I took a walk. So it was a little damp because of that, but that was fine. Cassie took a picture after she got down there, being on the expressway, going, she got a chip in the windshield. And thank goodness it's small enough, but it's a little chip, and it's got a couple little spidery veins coming out. So it's like, we can try to get it repaired. We don't need a whole new windshield. We do have one other chip in there that we got, again, right after we got the car. But that one doesn't have any spidery veins coming out of it. So with this one, we're like, okay, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Yeah, so that was nice. So we did nothing yesterday. So that was nice to just sit and do nothing. I'm like, oh, I need this. I need I mean, like I said, it was a busy week, but it doesn't seem like it was, it was like, it's a normal busy, but it just felt like a lot. And then knowing today, again, I had to get up early and go take the van in. And so when I was there, saying there were a couple changes on the way there, a different other car fix-em-up place that I drive past, that was all boarded up. And then when I got to my mechanic, across the street from them was a water utility department, the city water department. And the building was like 90% down. And so I asked him, like, what the heck's going on? He's like, they're tearing down the building. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, whatever. They sold it. They built a new place. They were moving. They're supposed to move in July, but of course they had problems with, with what was going on with the way it was being built. So they didn't move until September. Now they tore this down. They were maybe going to put a police station in, but then some board members didn't like that idea. So now they may do it somewhere else, but they don't know really what's going on. But that was supposed to be the main plan. And he was like, cool. He likes that idea. They're also supposed to put a roundabout in there at some time, but we'll see. But it's kind of like, ooh, changes. And then I said, okay, now business talk. Got a chip in the windshield. I'm like, can that be fixed? He goes, yeah, if you go to like a Safe Light or one of those, glass place repairs stuff, they should be able to do that. And he's like, if you want that done, he goes, if you want the whole windshield replaced, they do that there. I said, yeah, they replaced my van window when we had some big rock hit it, but that one really was really spidering out. And so we're like, I know we'd had a windshield replaced there once, but so I know that, again, that's an option. And then I mentioned, I'm like, okay, van doors. He goes, not closing? I'm like, kind of. And this is what's going on. And he was like, yep, I know the problem. He goes, let me go check it out. And so he went back and looked at the van and came back and said, okay, he could see where Wayne had greased up the doors, but there were a couple other areas that also needed some greasing. And he's like, if you don't know, you don't know. So he took care of all that. He goes, passenger door should be fine. So that was the one that we had problems of, where it kind of looked like it was lashed, but it wasn't. Driver's side door, the one that sometimes closes to only be, a couple inches open. He's like, that one, the plastic wheel on the inside actually is broke off, and it's just kind of riding on this metal pin. And he goes, so not an emergency. He goes, you could get it fixed. And then I asked him, like, well, should we do both at the same time? He's like, nah, just wait till the other one breaks off, and then we'll fix that one. It's only going to cost about $250. So I'm like, that's good, because Wayne's like, it's going to cost $1,000. It's like, is it worth it? Like, I like my van. I want to keep my van. I'm like, I'll just keep fixing her up. And I kind of mentioned that to to him, and he was just like, yeah, your van's good. So I'm like, okay, good, keep my van. But yeah, so that's what's all going on. Today is Cassie's optics anniversary, so she calls it her Cassiversary. So I said she wanted to make meringue cookies. It's kind of her thing, her specialty. It's the one thing that she bakes that people like. And so she wanted to do that yesterday, so I had gotten some of it all set up for her. And then I'm like, do you want to do it? Do you want me to? She's like, I got it. I'm like, okay, good. So she did. She baked her cookies, and then she was like, oh, do we have any like gold sprinkles, whatever? I'm like, actually, I do. So, because it's like her gold anniversary. 3 years on the third year. Oh, this would then be starting her fourth year. So we sprinkled some with gold, and then she found my eyeballs. I said, oh, I have some sprinkles over on the table in the dining room. And so she was looking, and she goes, oh, you have eyeballs. She's like, I want to put eyeballs on the cookie. I'm like, okay. So we sprinkled some. We got the eyeballs on the cookies. I had some other gel stuff to make the eyeballs stick. And we got that all done, so she was all good. And then a couple people don't work today, so they were like, save some for us for Tuesday. So what she did was, the one batch of cookies was already cool before she thought of the gold sprinkles. And so with the second batch, I was able to put the sprinkles on so that it would stay adhered to the cookie, where the first ones were already dry and cool. So then I had some gel frosting, and I used that on the cookies to help adhere the eyeballs, and so she was all excited about that. Put it in a work chat for a couple people, so they were all excited. So she took half the batch in today, and then she was taking the other, so she's like 12 cookies in today, and she's taking 12 in tomorrow. So for the people that aren't here today, that they'll, because one of them was the owner, the optician, of the optometrist. He knew she was going to be bringing in cookies. He's like, well, save me some for, on Tuesday. And so she'll be bringing some in tomorrow too. So that's nice. That's cute. That'll all work out. So the whole Cassie update, we talked to Mandy Friday night. She was a little more sad. She had that week off, and then she only had Friday of school. Then she had the weekend again, which is probably nice, because Friday she had a doctor's appointment there to get her alien registration card. She needed to see a physician there, and for them to do a workup on her. They drew blood. She's not good with needles. So she felt like passing out. The world was kind of closing in on her. And so the nurses are like, you okay? Are you okay? They kind of spoke some English. And she was like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And then she went to get dressed, and then she was like, ooh, and she was, the nurse was kind of walking out with her and like grabbed her by the arm before she like fell over. Got her sitting down. They pulled over a bed for her. They got her in a bed. They put her in a side room. They gave her water. So like, don't they have juice there? I'm like, did you not tell them? She goes, I don't know how to tell them in Korean that, that I get queasy with needles. And the last blood draw she had, she was good for. Oh, and it's back on. Okay. Talking over that 40-minute mark or so, half an hour mark. The camera shuts off. Like, are you still there? So anyways, yeah, they put her in a side room. I guess the doctor came in and kind of scolded her a little bit about, if you don't feel good, you let the nurses know. And she was like, okay. And then another nurse came and checked on her again, you feeling better? And so in Korean or something, she did say kind of like that she was feeling better. And the nurse was like, oh, blah, 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 that in Korean. And she was kind of like, oh, no, just, a little Korean. And then the nurse, oh, back to English. So, okay, or sleep more. And, so Mandy was like, sleep more. She's like, okay. Rest more. So Mandy sat there for a little bit and rested for a little bit more. Ended up messaging the school to say, I'll be a little bit late. And they were like, well, didn't you get to your appointment on time? And she said, well, yes, I did, but I'm not feeling good. I almost passed out. And they're like, well, get here as soon as you can. I was like, let us know when you're coming. So she kind of took that as, yeah, get here as soon as you can type of, and she, all right. And then she got into the class, and unfortunately there's one little girl that, kind of has said before, she kind of told her, she's like, I don't like you. Amanda teacher, I don't like you. So that was Mandy's greeting to the class, so she was just like, oh. So she got through her day, but she was just kind of like, she was just a little sad. So it was good to talk, I think, to us too, have a little, again, human contact. There were no plans for the weekend. She wasn't meeting up with the teachers, going out, doing anything. So I mentioned about the birthdays. I'm like, well, are there any K-pop birthdays, any birthday shops going on? So that kind of perked her up. And then she and Cassie were going through what's coming up for February, what's going on, and all that. And Cassie did buy her ticket. She did get her visa. That came the day that we were at the hospital and Cassie was working. So I had to call a neighbor and I'm like, could you please go check by our house? There should be a FedEx envelope and put it between our doors because I don't know where in the world this person put it. And they took a picture with our address, which was by our garage, and Amazon has a couple times put a package by, the end of the garage. I'm like, are you kidding me? Anybody going by could like jump out and just grab it as opposed to putting it by our door. So the neighbor very nicely, again, it was good weather. I didn't put her out too much or anything. She's like, yeah, I got you. So she came over and then she texted me, I put it between your doors. I was like, thank you very much. So that was Cassie's visa. She was good to go. So she bought her plane ticket. So we're all good to go there. And then she's looking at hotel rooms because she's going to get there a week before she can actually get into the dorms. And unfortunately with Mandy working, like her workday ends at like 6:30. So it's kind of already late as far as to try to go out and do anything, go anywhere. They probably won't do too much that first week. Maybe Cassie will hop over there. Maybe they could have dinner together or something. And I said, if anything, Cassie will have a hotel room with a bathtub, but maybe Mandy will want to go visit her and take a bath. Because Mandy likes like baths, nice warm baths and all that. And the apartment she has only has a shower. So, but we'll see. That's coming up in like 2 weeks. So we're getting all ready for that. So that's about it for the Mandy update. Not much going on. There'll be more stuff. Again, when Cassie's there every weekend, they will be together and out and doing things. So that'll be that. Like this week, we've got dinner out with friends one of the days. So other than that, it'll be more of a slow week. It'll be okay. Today's a catch-up day. Catching up on, again, I still haven't edited that chicken video, the fried rice. So I have that to do. I'll edit this one and get this one up. And then I have a couple recipes to make this week. I do believe Super Bowl is this weekend. I have to double check. This may be their off week and the Super Bowl may be the next week. So I have 2 recipes to make that'll kind of be some like good snacky foods for Super Bowl. If anybody gets into that, watches that, needs some snacks. And yeah, that's it for my plans for this week. Other things, I did look up orchid stuff. Kind of before coming on here. There's nothing, a windmill. When we were going to pick up our friend and stuff, the way we took on the expressway, we passed a windmill. One windmill. I'm like, how do we have one windmill here? What's up with that? And when did it come? I do not recall seeing this. I'm like, granted, when I take the expressway, I've been taking the other side of it all the time. I showed you the Allen Bradley clock. I take that as opposed to the Hone Bridge. The Hone Bridge is kind of one of the famous bridges, one of the Blues Brothers movies. It used to be called The Bridge to Nowhere. And the Blues Brothers actually did a scene on there where they had the car like come to the end and like almost fall off, because that's where it was at that point. But in any case, that kind of connected where I used to live, would connect us into Milwaukee, or when I go to university. I would take that bridge all the time. Well, now I usually take the other bridge. I don't have use for that bridge. But we took that because that was closer to where we were going. And I'm like, there's a windmill. What the heck? And then I asked our friend about that, and they were like, well, yeah, it's been here for a long time. And I'm like, okay. So today I mentioned about these buildings being torn down and, the other building being closed up and stuff. And so Wayne says, were there any windmills? And I'm like, no, like I still haven't looked that up. So again, too funny. Like my daughters, like our daughters, it's like they run on one brain cell. Like Wayne and I lately have been on one brain cell that I went and looked it up. And I go back to our Discord page and I hear the bling, whatever, and he posted the thing. I had just made a screenshot of the page I was on checking about this windmill. And I go back to Discord and there he posted the exact same thing I'd screenshotted. So I laughed. I'm like, I was just going to post that. Windmill's been there since 2012. I'm like, seriously? Have I really not taken that expressway in that many years? I think it's 13 years or something. Okay. Yeah, they built a windmill and it helps power that Coast Guard station or something, and then extra goes into the grid. And so in the meantime, I thought, okay, I keep saying I'm gonna look up about orchids and I haven't. So before I film this, it's blooming some more. I've got 4 blooms on there, very nice. I looked up orchids. Well, these roots are air roots. They're supposed to grow out. They talk about you can transplant orchids. They're not really supposed to be in those pots like from the store. They should be more in a plastic, airy type of a pot. They need special soil. It's more like a tree bark or whatever, bark type. It's not soil. It's just airy. And you can take the plant out. And if these roots are smaller, like the video that I watched, how they transplanted it, the roots were maybe, up to there, a couple inches long. I didn't see anybody have a plant with the roots this long. And it's like when you transplant it, then you can take those roots and you mold them around inside there and still kind of cover them with the bark, and then they'll grow to be able to grow into the ground and grow down. But otherwise, I guess you let them go, and people are like, oh, but they're air roots, and so if the roots that are in the ground kind of either get moldy or die off or whatever, they have the air roots to get what they need, the moisture and stuff from the air. So, and they're like, yeah, you shouldn't cut them. Somebody else had asked, well, should I cut them out? No, you really shouldn't cut them. I'm like, oh, well, so I let it go too long before I could have started weeding them, winding them around on the inside of the pot. So, I guess I'll let them go. And this, especially if it's blooming and all that, to not transplant while it's blooming, because that may affect the blooming part of it and stuff, that it may not flower. And if it's been a couple of years that it hasn't flowered, but your leaves are still green, that type of thing, yeah, you transplant it and that'll help because it'll give it more nutrients. And there's some type of orchid food. I may have to look into whatever. But again, so far it's doing good. I've got it's flowering, it's pretty. I just have to start paying attention to like when that type of the stem comes out, the flowering stem comes out, and maybe try to make it grow upwards, but that's all right. It's pretty. But now I looked up some of that information. I can look up more. I guess just to see either about longer roots, or I'll just let it go and we'll see what happens. It's kind of like the other plant where I've got this one with all the vinies. This is the spider plant. So the spider plant is meant to hang or be on the edge of whatever, a counter, a desk, a table, so that the viney part can go down and then it spits off its little spidery plants. So I've cut one of those off and I rooted it, and I hadn't done anything with it. And finally today I'm like, oh my god, it was growing all moss around there. So I cleared that all off. I did still have a couple roots on it, so I planted it in this other planter that I've got to move that Dieffenbachia to the other one, or figure if I'm even keeping those anymore, what I'm going to do with them. But because those two, they're not growing as they should. The leaves keep browning out. A couple of them have died off. And so I was going to combine what I had, and I'm like, at this point, I don't know if I would keep that or I'll just grow. I've also got from my vine plants, like these guys, I don't know if you can see in this video or not, but my vine plants down here, these, I've got so many vine plants because they too grow all out, and then I chop them and then I'll throw them in a vase of water, root them. So I've got a vase with 1 or 2 sprigs on them that there's a ton of roots in there that are all growing around in there too. It's like, I think it's that one too, the roots are getting kind of compacted. I really should put it in a pot and grow those. But in any case, again, better to do in the warmer weather, so we'll see. Other than that, yeah, if anything, I was going to dust the leaves. I dusted the leaves off. I saw some, I don't know, a web hanging off one of these, like a dust web, and I went to kind of get the dust web off, and dust was flying, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done that either. I used to do that. One of my jobs as a kid, my dad would have me kind of help water the plants. So he always had a jug of water that was room temperature, and we had a little cup, and I would fill the cup, and I would put my little 1 or 2 little cupfuls of water in every plant around the house, and then he would mix up his Miracle Grow, once a month and once every other month, and then we'd put that in the plants, and then sometimes I would go and I'd dust them and get a paper towel, make it wet, and then just get all the dust off the leaves so again they can breathe. And so I kind of dusted the one plant. I'm like, oh, that's another job. I had it on my list for last week, figuring, well, maybe I would do it this Saturday or something. Yeah, this weekend. It was like after the busy week. So we'll see if I get to that this week. Again, all those little projects, the little things that get put on the list of, well, at some point. This is a project to be done. So anyways, do you do that? Do you make lists? Do you make lists of things to check off? I like doing that. I put everything every day. Every day I make a morning post. I try to do my own, get my exercise in, take a walk. So that's my everyday list. Morning post, exercise, walk. And then the extras of, make a video, edit a video, post a video, respond to comments, go grocery shopping, oil change, all those things. And then start crossing them off, and then when it doesn't get done, moves to the next day's list, and I'm like, all right, what's on the next day list? So things like that. Dust leaves on the plant. That then gets moved to the next list on the next list. We'll get it done. We'll do that. Now, have you dusted the leaves on your plants? You do that. Talk to them. So if they talk to the plant, that's all part of it. Talk to it. Touch its leaves. Tell it, doing a good job. Right? So do that. Tell it, you're doing a good job, little plant. Doing well. That way too helps get some dust off. Anyways. Other than that, again, things are good. Life is good. I'm doing well. I'm feeling well. Still having the stomach. I'm thinking again, this has almost been a year, 2 years. 2 years since I was diagnosed. So funny how it doesn't seem like that long. But then again, it's like 2 years is a long time. It's like that was a ways ago. And then I'm like, but I'm still feeling it. I still have the pain at night when I'm rolling over, or when I'm drying dishes, drying my crock pot and put it against my stomach and try to, dry the inside. It's like, ooh, yeah, a little painful. So, still healing. But again, surgery-wise, it's only been just over a year. So, keeps getting better day by day. So I hope you guys are healthy. I hope you are doing well. Do something fun every day. Something that makes you smile. And you guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.